Everyone, welcome once again to Vicious Chats. Tim Vicious with me today. He is a podcaster, he is a dork, and coming up relatively soon, he's going to be able to have wrestling promoter under his belt. Host from Talks with Dorks podcast, Ryan. Dude, it is so good to have you on here, man.
Mate, thank you so much for having me. Like, I'm gonna make you feel good. This is actually my first guest appearance on a podcast.
Well, golf clap, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. This
Shades
could
of
also
men at
be the
work
last
right
time.
there.
We'll find out if it's gonna be the last time.
Well, we'll be good. Just, yeah, little shades of men at work. Golf clap, golf clap.
I'm here for that. I'm here for
Had to throw the old movie references in. So, man, I gotta ask, definitely, like the wrestling show. How's it been going with that? I can only imagine, like some of the because that's like I'm pretty sure that's every wrestling fan's dream come true, getting to make their own show.
Yeah. And that's kind of where it stemmed from. Like, as I was saying to you just before we recorded, the idea all came from when we had AJ Slambino on the podcast, and he was saying how I don't know what you know of him, but he's massive on social media over here. He loves the UK and he's really big with UK fans. And he was like, I've always wanted to wrestle in the UK. I've put my name out to like some of the big companies like Rev Pro. They're just not getting back to me. And I was like, I was a wrestler. I did promote a couple of times. And I know a few people. I'll speak to a few people. Someone's going to want to make money. Like, this is easy money. You've got following. People that aren't even wrestling fans will want to come see you because they follow you. And I got off the podcast and I couldn't sleep. And I was just like, yeah, why do I want to give someone else money? I've promoted before. I've got a team of dorks that are all wrestling fans. They'll all want to do it. What if we did it? And that's where it came from. And it just stemmed into, they were all like, oh my God, like to them, it's like having their own box of wrestling toys to play with. They've got
Yeah,
their own
because
figures.
I'm not gonna lie, when you and Bingus wound up tagging me on that, and for those who may not know, Bingus Tony, he was the first guest ever on this show. When
Yeah.
you and Bingus first tagged me on it, my first thought was, "Do you got they just pretty much did like Cody and like, oh no, you can't put on a show. Hold my beer, watch this. We're going."
Yeah. And yes, like we've still got 2 months. We come up with this idea because it was like AJ's a content creator. We then incorporated Goonie Dad, Paul Johnson Naylor, who's his tag team partner. They've never tagged before. So this is like just their match. We've got AJ making his UK debut. We've got Paul making his debut, and they're making their tag debut all in one match. So it's like that's a certain point. Plus the fact that they're social media creators. So we then started having this idea of bringing other wrestling content creators in. And it's the idea is that we're trying to do something new. It's a wrestling show that we're building on social media, that we're using the social media side of it as a major aspect because we're not going to have a weekly show to promote things, but we have a podcast. And that's how we're doing it. And it's trying to be something different, not just a wrestling show. It's a wrestling show with content creators.
That's smart right there, man. Because honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if like anywhere between 5 to 15 years from now, we start seeing shows getting plugged like that. Because I mean, what's it? You go on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and the
Elon
closer
Musk
you're gonna
site.
get, yeah, the closer you get to like a wrestling pay per view, whether it's WrestleMania or AEW or whatever, you're gonna see paid ads for it. You know, and the difference between like with that compared to you, you're going out there, you're putting out all the hard work, like every hour on the hour, putting out a tweet. Hey, we're doing a show on this day. Hey, we're doing a show on this day. Hey, tickets are this price. You know, that is awesome right there.
It is. It's like I can't explain. There's a buzz about it. Like I said, with the people we've got involved, like our GMs, we've decided we've two are two wrestling content creators, and it was the easiest. Do you want to come and be involved in the show? Yeah, of course. Originally, it was like we'll probably get you to guest referee, do something like that, and then I sat there, and was like, what if we made them the GM? And yes, we're only planning one show at the moment, but it's like one show is already thinking about show number two. Then we're already thinking about next year and doing 4 shows next year. And what if it becomes something? And we've already got an idea because we've called this Never Say Die because, it stemmed from the idea of we've got AJ's tag team partner who's known as Goonie Dad, who's massive on the Goonies, and it's happening just around the 40th anniversary. So then I went, what if we did a show towards the end of the year? What other film turns 40? There's a film of a car that if you drive it 8 miles per hour, disappears. There's an idea for you. Then what if next year we did 40-year films? We did 4 shows. 1986 would be 40 years next year. You've got Top Gun, Short Circuit 2, Stand By Me, which is to me the greatest movie that was ever made. You've got what else is there next year? There's loads, and then it keeps you keep thinking of the films that are turning for in 2029. You've got Batman 89. Like
Whoa,
thinking
I
ahead.
never even thought on that one.
Think of that, dude. Like, just this is what the idea. And then we was like, what if we're successful and in between 2030 to 2040, we're still doing shows? You got all the 90s films turning 40, Terminators,
Oh
Lion Kings,
man.
Power Rangers. Dude, like my head was like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're incorporating what we do with dorks that love movies and TV and wrestling, and we're gonna name them after wrestling shows, movies that are turning 40.
Now, speaking of Power Rangers, that just clicked a light bulb in my head. I saw a thing the other day. It popped up, and it was, believe Netflix is working on doing a remake of Mighty Morphin series. Like they're gonna.
There's two things I've heard that they're using AI technology to remake, like not remake, but like sort the quality of the original series, make it higher quality, which I'm all for.
Upscale it.
Yeah, which would be good. And then you've got supposedly Disney are
That's what it was.
starting
It was Disney, not Netflix. I don't know. I don't know why I was thinking Netflix on that
because
one.
Netflix
That's
was meant to be taking Power
my bad.
Rangers. They were meant to be taking it, and it's as a Power Ranger fan, it's been in limbo for like 3 years now. I mean, like it's gutting. Obviously, you see, I've got the helmets, and
Oh yeah.
they never finished them, so I'm missing green, yellow, and black. It's like, come on, man, like please do like do. And but they've just released some new toys that look really cheap, and they've done like £20 helmets that like you would give it to. I'm like, cut like finally you're gonna give me all the helmets I want, but they're like cheap quality ones where I've got half a collection here. But I'm excited because Disney. I mean, yes, Disney do great things with certain franchises. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they overkill it. But just listen to us. Give us a slightly more grown up version of Power Rangers that's still suitable for kids. But these kids can cope. These kids have all seen Deadpool Wolverine, whether we like to admit it or not. I've got a 7-year-old that's definitely seen it.
I took my son to go see it when it came out, and he was 14 going on 15 at the time. And now all the time he'll just look at me anytime and I'm man enough to admit when I do something stupid, I'll look at him and say, yeah, that was my idiot moment. He'll just look at me and say, he'll just look at me like Logan and be like, did you just make an educated wish?
Right, like the fact that that film got so massive. My 4-year-old, my little boy, he's got autism, so but singing and dancing his thing. He's never going to see the film, obviously, but even he knows the dance to Bye Bye Bye. All me, him, and the older my middle stepson all have got a video of us doing the whole dance to it, Bye Bye Bye, because that song got so popular again. And as a 90s kid, yeah, I'm for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, me and my boy, we're both on the spectrum too. So I get that all too well, man.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's bringing like he's like with wrestling. Obviously, I don't know if you've seen it in my TikTok. My stepson has become. I'm milking him. He's getting me views, milking him for content. So we did the first video we did was to complain about the prices of WWE tickets because I was looking at taking him and we looked at the prices and I was like, wow, wow, that's expensive. And then we did a
Yeah.
video. It
Yeah.
went a
What
little
was
bit
it?
viral.
I took my son to a house show. I was lucky I had the finances for it. I was able to get the VIP tickets. I mean, he
Nice.
got a kick out of it because he got to do the meet and greet. And at the time, Ricochet was the IC champ and Rhea Ripley was there. She still had the shortcut with some of the blonde in it. But we got to do meet and greets. He got to see them and we were ringside and he got to take home the chair and all. And he had a blast doing it.
Yeah, I mean, we are going now because like it kind of happened. So the video went kind of viral, and we were getting the comments of like, "Oh, you're just doing this trying to get free tickets." It's like, that wasn't my idea. It was just for him to get on TikTok and make a video. I was like, okay. So then, luckily, my partner was very nice, and she went, "I'm going to get you them," and they cost a lot of money. She bought us 2 tickets. We're not floor, but we're first level up. We got decent seats. It's Raw in London, and there's obviously rumors that Dwayne's going to be there. So me being a massive rock guy, that is exciting. I bought a CM Punk t-shirt. Then he got pulled from the show, and I was like,
can you
right,
do the Rock eyebrow? Let's see.
dude.
Now we got to do an eyebrow fight. Yeah, yours is better.
Only purely because since I got into wrestling, became obsessed with him. If you look at any picture of me, go down my Facebook, and 99.9% of them, I'm doing the eyebrow because I hate my smile. I hate my smile in photos.
Oh
So I
God,
always
yeah.
I
I
smolder
feel
look.
that so. I feel that so much. I got like a creepy Nicolas Cage like smile when I do it. When I do, it looks like if I don't have a beard and I smile, it looks like the creepy Nicolas Cage kind. Like, it's like no, no, no. That's why I'll just stick with a blank face.
Yeah, I can't do it. That's not okay. I'm not okay with that. So if I just do the smolder, raise the eyebrow, but then it's
Yeah,
really funny
mine can
because
pop up like maybe a small little bit, but that's about it. I can't do the big high one like Rock.
but it upsets me. The ADHD in me upsets me that I do the wrong eyebrow. I do the left, he does the right. So it upsets me that I can't do it because if I do that, it goes a bit. I look like Popeye.
Yeah, if you see, I'm trying to do the right one now, and it looks like I'm like having an aneurysm.
You trying to fart? You trying to push a fart?
Either that, or I'm dealing with an no nosebleed, so no brain aneurysm. I'm good. We're good, folks. And this is normal. This is how we normally conversate too. Might add.
Yeah, it always gets weird on a podcast. You just start rolling, don't you? And you start talking about things you probably didn't think you were ever going to talk about.
Yeah, the weirder it gets, the more comfortable it is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you're not laid back and enjoying it, you're just stressing about
Yeah,
it. Sit back, relax. That's what we do.
yeah. Now, speaking of the whole WWE UK, WWE Europe tour, I don't know if you heard this rumor or not, man, but apparently there was a rumor going around that the whole reason they set up the whole European and UK tour was because Cena had to go and do some filming for a movie over during that time. Because when he did that
Oh,
Raw in Brussels, he was also shooting at that time. So apparently the rumor is the company was just like, well, we need him, but he's going to be over there. How do we do this? Pack your bags, boys. We're going overseas.
I
What's
mean,
that?
they always do a tour around this time. So as far as I know,
Typically they do one like around after, but never
oh
before.
yeah, I suppose yeah. It's
Yeah,
usually
that's what I'm
WrestleMania
saying. Like,
Revenge Tour.
let
Yeah.
that not be said. Let it not be said. That's not the true sign of somebody is over like Rover, not just with the fans, but with the company.
I mean, I'm as a as a fan, as a it's the last tour. My steps are he's just got into it this year, like in the last couple of months. Obviously, I started getting him into it because stepdaddy might be stepping into the ring once more. You don't know yet. We haven't set that. We don't know if that's happening. But with the show coming up, I wanted him to be into it, so we started watching WWE. He's got obsessed, which is great, and Cena is his guy. So yeah, he wasn't too happy after a chamber. Still
Ooh.
loves him, but he's confused by him for 7. He's very good. So the fact that we're going and he's gonna see Cena, that was one of the main things. Like, if we don't go now, he's never gonna see his favorite wrestler at a show like that. He might be lucky to see him at a movie premiere or a signing or something like that one day. But if we don't go to this one, he will likely never see him at WWE.
Who was your guy growing up?
The Rock, always Dwayne.
Rock. I was very much so Macho Man. I was the Macho Man through and through. Like, don't no lie. During 8th grade, we did an 8th grade graduation where we went from 8th grade into high school. And I almost got kicked out of my 8th grade graduation because they played Pop'em Circumstance to walk us down. And I went just all Randy twirling around. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And all the parents are looking like, what in the world? And my teacher looks like she's about to bust a blood vessel. My parents are just face palming. What the hell is wrong with this kid?
But look at you now. You're still talking wrestling and you're still doing the impressions. So it worked
Oh
out.
yeah. Well, Randy is hands down got to be the easiest wrestling impression in the world to do because all you got to do is just get that gravelly deep voice on.
Ooh,
Yeah, and you got to
yeah.
enunciate. You hear me? Enunciate the
I
finer details.
I
Yeah.
cannot go into a store that has a sunglasses rack and see a kind of similar to Randy pair and not put them on and do an impression. Like it's just sacrilege. It's against all laws as a wrestling fan to see a pair
Yeah.
of them sunglasses and not do the impression. Even if you can't do it very well, you do it.
Oh yeah. I don't care what anyone. Yeah. Randy is the easiest impression, hands down, but it's also the most recognizable, because you could walk around with a toothpick and just be like, hey, yo. And everyone just be like, you trying to be a tough guy? No, I'm Razor Ramon, dude.
People
Scott
know, yeah,
Hall.
exactly. Yeah, people just don't get it. So the reason my favorite is The Rock and not anyone before, because as a kid, as a youngster, I did watch a bit of wrestling, the Hogan era, but I didn't get into it then. It was SummerSlam 2000 where I found and loved. So the guy that I started this podcast with, Ash, we we long story short, we grew up kind of together. He moved away, and then later on, I moved to a different town. We run into each other. We found each other, and he kept trying to get me into wrestling. He was watching WCW, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I can. It's all right. It's Goldberg. I remember Bret Hart. I remember him. It's all right." Then SummerSlam 2000, Kurt Angle versus The Rock, and he was like, "Dude, you've got to watch
Ooh.
this." We'd record it on VHS. He'd record it on VHS. You've got to watch this show. It's meant to be so good. He put it in, and I saw The Rock cut a promo, and instantly I went, "Oh, he's cool. I like him." And then I saw him do his match. Yes, he lost. If memory serves me, he lost that match, but I was like so into it. And then technically my first Mania was 17. So
Oh,
quite a good one. So imagine I'm still not over that. I'm still not over what Stone Cold did, but that'll always be. I mean, what of WrestleMania to find your love for Mania is the
yeah.
first
Eh,
TLC.
Yeah.
Let alone everything else that goes on.
So
Like
what's your if you had to pick one match to be the be all end all WrestleMania match of all time for you, what would it be?
ooh, Mania match.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be a main event one. It could be just any match.
I think Shawn and Taker won.
Ooh, that's
Sure.
good.
Because like that match led to 4 years of storytelling.
Yeah.
And, like you generally like for the first time, I think you genuinely believe that then Taker might lose. That to me was the memories that Taker might lose this. This is being built so well, even when it got to the Triple H, and all it took was a look to the
Yeah.
side. No words needed to be said. Like that shows you that they, with the Shawn side of it, they built that to that they just needed to look at the sign, and that was it.
I gotta
That
say, mine's is Rock and Hogan.
oh, okay, right? No, do you know
That
what?
that's and my reasoning, it's very simple. It's wrestling's equivalent to Ali versus Tyson. In the boxing world, we never got to have Ali versus Mike Tyson, but
Can I change
that
my
is the
answer?
closest we would ever get in wrestling.
I think I need to change my answer. I agree. Yes. Do you know what? I don't even know why I skipped that. That didn't even come into my head. You're right.
Well, it's you could almost set your watch to it to where once it's getting closer and closer to Mania, I'll just be like, nope, I gotta watch this one. I gotta watch that, and I gotta watch the Shawn and Razor ladder match
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
because
Again,
I mean,
like I said, I didn't watch that until later, but then you go back and you watch it and you go, yeah, you see what they were doing.
yeah, and look, how many years later has it been, and we're still talking about the very first ladder match with Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, and they didn't do half the crazy stuff you see guys do with ladders
They didn't need
nowadays.
to. They didn't need to.
Yeah,
Storytelling. They made you believe, and that's where I get stressed sometimes with wrestling now. Is that like I'm more for the stories than like the story in the ring, not just the promos, but the story in the ring of like the excitement of just yes, there's some amazing athletic matches out there, and what they can do is unbelievable. but there's no selling to it. And like it's the selling, the simple, like taking your time, not having to rush everything, just a simple pull into the corner, whack, whack, walk away. You don't have to do 10 punches there and then you walk away, you sell it a little bit, come back. Just you're telling the right story, and that's what it is. And you, like you say, Hogan and Rock, they went into that not knowing what that crowd was going to do, and they on the fly, like the way the Rock kind of didn't go heel, but did go heel because it made sense. Like
Yeah,
at that level, with that adrenaline, with them nerves, yeah. My answer's changed. You're right, Hock Rogan.
yeah. Like I said, that's wrestling's equivalent to Ali versus Tyson right there. The boxing world never got to have that privilege, but wrestling fans did get to have that in a way where we
Yeah,
got that.
yeah. And I remember, and I don't know if it was like it was because they knew it was going to happen, but I used to collect the WWE magazine around that time, and they were doing dream matches in the magazine, and Rock Hogan was one of them. And if I remember, I don't know, because it was only like 2 or 3 months before that Hogan had come back, so it might have been well before he'd even come back. But I remember thinking, yeah, that would be great match. And then when it actually started to become a reality, it was like, this is something. This is going to be special. And the way
Yeah,
again, the way they built it, the way they kept the NWO away from it, etc. Even though they were part of the build up, the whole thing was just
it's just
yeah,
that. Yeah, I stress to my son all the time because he's at 15. He's kind of in and out. His big thing is he loves basketball, and I don't
yeah,
discourage that. I'm like, you like what you like. He likes to watch wrestling with me, but if I'm not there, he's like, nah, well, I don't want to watch it. Okay, well and good. But I tell him all the time, dude, you want to learn about some good classic wrestling? You look up this, and this match. Some of them are going to be good. Some of them are long. Some of them are quick. Some of them are bloody. But man, you learn.
yeah.
And I gave that same talk to my nephew because he does judo. He takes judo classes, and he was asking me because I did backyard stuff and I made my own character with the Tim Vicious character and all. And he was like, trying to think how do I present myself like when I win? I'm like, you telling me you're trying to come up with a character for yourself? Yeah. I'm like, okay, well, think about who you are, crank it up to 11. But if you're looking on how you want to go and show massive intensity, go look up Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon at King of the Ring. You're not gonna see much as far as on a character, but you're gonna see intensity in that match, and you could just pick up body language from that, and you'll learn.
I just got a shudder just thinking about when they try going through the glass and he slid down it. I
Yeah,
just picturing that just makes me remember watching that live in the moment. Like he like you remember thinking for that's his next break.
I saw that, and my first thought was, did he just break his neck?
Yeah, he literally like it was not like the fact that he was professional enough to make sure he didn't is amazing, but it was so close.
And then
So
the stories of Shane looking at him saying, "Listen, pick me up and throw me through that fucking glass," was
for a
like,
man
what
that did
the?
never needed to take them risks. Shane McMahon, is as much as like a silver spoon fed kid, never needed to take them risks, but he did
No, but
to
he felt
prove
that he
his
was that
passion.
kid that was that adrenaline junkie and was like, "Nah, I'll do it. I'll do it. You want me to jump? I'll jump."
But even I don't know, are we allowed to talk about mention his dad's name anymore? That
Yeah,
guy.
well, yeah, you can mention them because I mean, I did an episode sometime back where me and a few guys talked about the series on Netflix on them.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, obviously, even Vince, like even he sometimes like, there's that video where I can't remember who it was, where he takes a bump, like showing them how to take a bump off the top, like in practice, and he goes, "Look, I'll show you," and he goes up and just drops straight off and lands, and it's
Oh
like,
yeah. That was
it's,
from the COVID mania where they had what was it? Where they had I think it was Gronk go and jump off the balcony.
and he was like, "Well, I couldn't have like as much as I was scared, I couldn't say no." Vince, a man in his 70s or however it is, just went up there without thinking and just did it. He's like, well, how can I not do it? He's just shown me up.
Yeah.
He just did it without hesitation. I was like, that's where you got to do it. You said about like your son, like this is what I'm loving with Jacob. You know, when I was getting him into it, I thought, you know, he's going to do the typical kid thing. He'll watch it with me, like you said, and that'll be it. But I keep going up and I'll find him. He's sitting on YouTube and he's watching videos, and like he's asked me some of the best questions as a dad that will excite you. He went to me the other week. He went, Ryan, who are these names? Do you know anything about a man called Eddie Guerrero? I was like, oh, I'm so proud. I was like, this is gonna get me. This is gonna do so well. And who's the other one? Eddie Guerrero. He didn't mention he who
Yeah,
shall not be
yeah,
named. Yeah,
yeah. I'd say on that
yeah.
name, hey, let's
That's
just say CB.
yeah, that man, like that. I'm thinking he's gonna come. It's kind of like, you know, like when kids ask you stuff about like the birds and the bees or stuff like that. Like you got to right, got to sit and have this conversation. How do I explain this one to him? But he asked me who Eddie Guerrero was. He asked me about Kane, and like he's now getting Kane to. I showed him Bad Blood, you know, Kane's entrance, and he was like sitting there. Then I showed him Mankind. Oh, he was asking me who Mick Foley was and stuff. So I showed him Mankind and Taker, Hell in a Cell. So it's going through that with a kid for the first time is the most amazing feeling. Like he wants to know, and it's watching his face when you're seeing these things happen that we watched, that we remember that feeling. It's like going with him and doing it. That's a feeling like no other. He's asking the right questions.
That's awesome, man. So I know you guys got all the WWE content on Netflix since it's Netflix
Yeah.
International, Peacock here in the US. Do you think just without any inside business info, none of that stuff? Let me ask you, just based on that, do you think sometime within like the next X amount of years, you think WWE is going to go all to Netflix, or you think they're going to just do like, nah, I think we'll still keep a little bit of here and there?
Personally, I think, like, I mean, because we've got it all on there, I think it's amazing. I genuinely do because, like, dude, it's like for us, it was always like if you wanted to watch Raw and SmackDown without illegally watching it, you had to pay for the Sky Sports package, which is like I don't even know, it's like £60 a month for
Oh,
something. So you like just to have the sports channel, which is great if you're a soccer fan. I'm making sure I say the American terms, good enough.
I
Soccer
know,
fan.
I would know what
Yeah.
you mean because I watch it. I
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
it. My
But
club, my club's Ireland.
fair enough. Yeah, obviously it would be, right? You're Irish yourself. Your
Yeah,
roots are
well,
there. So,
got to
but
root
like
for the boys, right?
if you're a football fan, if you're you know, you're into rugby and all that, if you watch sports all day, every day, okay, you can cope with that. But I'm only going to buy it for the Raw and SmackDown, you know. And I think NXT was on something else, but you've done that. Then you're paying for the PLEs, and they're like 20, 30 quid, unless you had the network. But I stopped buying the network a long time ago because I didn't find myself using it as much. I wasn't, I stopped using it when WWE was in that sort of stale period a few years back where Roman was being forced down you. That era, it was kind of like, I don't need to be spending this. I'm not watching it as much. So you had to have the network, have Sky Sport, have all this. So to pay a subscription, not only to get Netflix, to get everything WWE, other than the one thing that's stressing me out is LFG. We don't have it, and I really want to watch it. It's the only thing we're not getting at the moment that I
Yeah,
really want to
that's
see.
currently on the one station here in the U.S., A&E.
Mm.
But that my dad's actually obsessed with watching that. He loves
Yeah.
watching the LFG show. And do you guys got Tubi over there? Because I know they got the show Evolve on Tubi. If not that, I
I
think they
know of
said it's
it
on YouTube internationally.
potentially. Yeah, I've heard of Tubi. I don't use it. I don't know if we get
It's
it, but
supposed to be like free TV with like some ads here and there. I've used it once or twice to look up some movies and some shows. It's got a lot of it's got a lot of hidden gems on there that like you would be like, oh snap, I remember watching this during this time and that time and all. Like what was it? They had a lot of old school 90s shows that I watched when I was a kid.
Uh, Mate, I'm all for that kind of stuff. That's what I love about some of these streaming services. Like, you know, as much as when I am a physical media guy, I do like my Blu-rays. I do like my games.
Yes.
Like, because like literally just here, I've got all my old consoles. I've got all my PS1 games. I've got all my Sega Mega Drive games. Like, I like having a collection. I'm a collector. But streaming, you can't argue. Like, again, I think of 12 years ago, I was working, spending my summers working in Greece and Spain in party islands and stuff. And we used to have hard drives full of stuff. And I had stuff like I always made sure I had all my classics. And I was spending hours downloading off naughty sites, stuff like Keenan and Kel and all these TV shows that I grew up with. So I had it. But then all of a sudden, streaming come on. And instead of having to take 3 hard drives, one with movies, one with all my TV shows, and one with all my music, I just I had Spotify and it's all here. It's right here on my screen. I can just click. The only thing is sometimes you can't find what you want to watch. It's that one thing that you are desperate to see that you've not seen in a long time. They're guaranteed it's not going to be on any of the services.
Yeah. And you know, speaking from the autistic perspective, the one downside about having so many streaming platforms and having everything available all at once, just like you said, you got everything available all at once. You're like, well, now what do I look up? It's an
Yeah,
overload. You know, in a way,
you do the same
I
thing.
don't know. I kind of miss like the old days where it was like cable, where it was like, okay, at 8 o'clock, I have to be home to watch this show or that show. At
Yeah.
9 o'clock, this movie will be on. At 1:30, this video is gonna this show this station's gonna play this song.
We are
You know,
spoiled for sure. That's the issue. Like, again, I'm assuming over there it was the same thing. During the 90s, Saturday evening TV here was like there was so many shows. You had Gladiators. Like that's
yeah,
come back.
we had Saturday morning cartoons.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, in the morning we had stuff like it was called like Live and Kicking, and you'd have like all your shows like not Keenan and Kel because that was Nickelodeon, but
Yeah,
like
we
these
would have
cool
like
shows.
Real Ghostbusters,
Yeah,
the Batman Superman Adventure Hour, Looney Tunes. You'd get things like that.
Batman animated series, all that stuff. Yeah, and then in the evening it was like your family stuff that you'd watch. Like say we had Gladiators, we had stuff like there was a guy called Noel Edmonds. I don't know if you've ever heard of Mr. Blobby. He's a British.
I've heard of it and I've seen some random bits of it here and there. We would get an international channel and it would show
Yeah.
all sorts of random stuff from different stations all over the world.
So
And I was that weird kid that I would set my watch to when they would play the Japanese stuff so I could watch the animes.
right, so we had, let's say you had a schedule, didn't you? And it was now it's at your leisure. So like you said, I get it. Like it is nice that we have these options, but you probably spend more time searching for something to watch now than actually watching it. Because most of the time I finally find something, I put it on, 20 minutes later, I've gone. I'm exhausted from searching.
Yeah,
So
and I'm not even gonna lie. A majority of my queue in whatever it is I'm streaming, whatever it is I'm watching, unless it's actually live, a majority of the stuff I'm in my queue is stuff I've watched like 3 or 4 times or more. Cause it's like, okay, I don't know what to look for. So I'm just gonna go with what I know.
yeah, and that I think yeah, sometimes that I don't know if I do this thing where I'll go through and I'll look down, I'll see the comedy section, I'll scan through the comedy section, and I'll go right, I might want to watch that. So keep that in mind. Say grown ups, that's there. I'll go to the next one. Action. Oh, Terminator's there. Maybe I'll watch that one. So then I'll get like 5 in my head, and I go right. These are the ones I've chosen. What one am I going to watch? And in the end, I go, that's on Netflix. Let me just see what Disney Plus has got. So I go over to Disney Plus and start scrolling through there. Then in the end, I go, I don't know what to watch. I go, I'll just put Friends on. Easy
But
watch.
as a parent, let me ask you this. I know you're saying you're showing kids a lot of the old school stuff like we grew up with. Have you ever, I took the time to actually force myself to sit down with a pen and paper and write down like a list of movies, like movies to show the boy, and
Yeah.
just started naming rant and just started writing down like 100 different kinds of movies. Do you ever thought you doing anything like that?
I try my hardest. So this is, I feel like having kids of the YouTube era. Jacob, he's 7. I struggle to get him to watch movies. It's like he gets bored, like because he knows with YouTube he can skip to the next video if we're watching a movie. So sometimes, but what I got him to watch one last year, and I was so proud. Cool Runnings, like
Oh,
mate, like the fact that he got to watch it and he was crying, he was in bits, and I was like, yes. And we end up watching it over and over for the next month. I was like, this is it. I'm gonna get him into movies. And since then, I've tried other films. I
yeah,
did Ghostbusters was another one I got him to watch, the original Ghostbusters, so that was good. But Cool Runnings
yeah.
was a real hit for me. I was so happy.
Well, we doing that. I do that with my son now, and his two favorite movies are the '80s remake of The Blob and the original Predator.
Nice.
Because and now, like I said, he's 15, so I'll take him to the gym and we go and we'll lift, and just randomly I'll go up to him to Dylan, you son of a bitch, and put my arm out, and he automatically knows what to do next, and we just go like that.
So with Jacob, if wherever we go, if we go into like a park, or a water park, for example, and there's slides or whatever, he knows now you cannot go down there without going, feel the rhythm, feel the ride, get up, it's bobsled time, and you just hear him go down the tube, and you hear Cool Runnings as he goes. Like you taught him well.
Yeah,
His
that and
real dad
anytime
probably
something
hates me for what I teach him.
that and anytime my son hears like our cat and dog start fighting, he'll just go and do, oh God, you're killing me, Smalls. Yes, Sandlot. He'll go, you're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me here.
Oh, do you know what? Saying Sandlot is something I definitely need to show him.
Yeah,
James L. Jones. Oh, what a movie! Like that. Growing up over here, not as many people knew that film like I did. Because I like for me, the films that always hit the most. Like I love. I mean, I've literally got Christopher Reeves on my arm. I've got Batman,
nice.
but Stand by Me. That people go to me. Why is that your favorite film? That's not sci-fi or superheroes. I'm like because it hits without having to have all the aspects. You don't understand. Films like The Sandlot, similar. It's just about a group of kids on an adventure. The Goonies, yes, it has a bit more special effects, has a bit more to it, but it's just that it's what it is. It's an adventure. It's a simple adventure that they're going on. That's what makes these movies so special. But I
Yeah,
can watch them all day, every day. They're different because they didn't need millions of dollars of CGI and stuff like that. It just were.
yeah. Sometimes the best stories have the don't need $100 million special effects to tell the best stories. Some do need them. Case in point, like you look at some of the Marvel movies,
Yeah.
and you don't always need it in some of the other ones. So moving along, speaking of superhero stuff, let me ask you. I know we talked about it when it first came out. Did you ever get a chance to check out Creature Commandos yet?
So I've watched episode 1. Again, it's not over here. So the only way to watch
Oh
it is
man,
is is in a naughty way. And then I find yes, like let's face it, most people can do that and will do that, but trying to do that with like 25-minute episodes of stuff, the amount of pop-ups, it becomes a stress, an actual stress. So I'm like, maybe I
ooh,
need to find a way to download it like I used to, because you just spend 25 minutes stopping a pop-up. Because if you move your mouse, that's it, pop-ups come up all over the screen. You're like, oh, just trying to enjoy it. But I really want to watch it because obviously it's linked to the DC universe that's coming. I
yeah,
know, I know, Mister makes an appearance. I've seen that clip through the window.
yeah.
Oh, and
Yeah,
he looks
and I will
big.
say this: I am very excited to see what James Gunn's got in
Oh,
store for
mate.
the DC universe
Oh, dude.
because
Like,
he even said right from the start, no, we're not doing it like, hey, it's a brand new kaboom, brand new universe. No, heroes have been here. Heroes are here. They've been here for years. We're not going to act like they're just starting out.
we
And I
don't
think
need it.
that's a whole fresh new kind of take.
we've been saturated. Like, I'm sorry, I love Batman. Michael Keaton will always be my Batman, but I don't need to see his mum and dad die again. I've seen it, and it's exactly no matter how many times they do it in a different film, it's exactly the same thing. We don't need to see that. We know it's happened. We know he's depressed. We know he's going to become Batman. Give us Batman. As much as yeah, unless they can find a new way of giving you an origin story, we know it. We want to see the action. We want to see the costumes. That's what we want. And James Gunn, like I've said this many times on Talks with Dorks, is I am gutted that Henry Cavill isn't going to be Superman. I loved Henry Cavill, and I think he was underutilized like a lot of it. Ben Affleck was a phenomenal Batman, but yes, I agree.
Yes,
He
very
was too
much
old
so.
to be Batman, but he did what he was given. He nailed. But I'm not one of these that's like restore the Snyderverse. I wish they had opportunities. I wish that it was finished. Yes, absolutely. But James Gunn, I love what he said. Is that I like Henry Cavill, I really do. But I'm planning a universe that's going to be 10 to 20 years. Henry's in his 40s. In 20 years, he's going to be. He's not going to look like. It's not horrible, but he's not going to look like Superman. We'll end up having to spend loads of money CGIing him to make him look younger, and he's not got a good track record with CGI. The
No,
the
no,
the, the way
no, because my buddy, he got a pirated copy of it about a week before it came out on disc, and it showed me. And the way it looked like his upper lip was moving on its own, where it was like like that, and it's like,
it was
oh my god, that's horrible.
it was so bad. Because and
The
it doesn't
worst
help.
part,
Go on.
the worst part was some college kid doing computer courses in school
Made it look
did a
better.
better job of doing the CG, removing the mustache and making the upper lip look better than the actual studio did.
How is that possible? It's like the same with what's it called, The Mandalorian, when they brought Luke in. He looked great, but deep fake made him look more realistic. I was like, how was Disney, with their untold amounts of money, not using this guy over here that's done it better on no budget? I don't get it. But like with this James Gunn universe, now to me, I've said this, and I'm saying it on your podcast, so America can hear this. I telling you now, I can see what's going to happen, because he has said that maybe we'll use Henry for something else later on, maybe. But DC, without a shadow of a doubt, has the best multiverse stories in the comics over anyone.
Oh,
Crisis.
without question. Without
So,
question.
and he
I
said
mean,
his Endgame-esque movie for the DC universe is going to be in 6 years. He's not going to do a 10-year. It's 6 years. So that says to me, what they're going to do 6 years of that, the first story, then they're going to go into the next one, after the Thanos part of it, they're going to open the multiverse. And I genuinely believe we're going to see this new Justice League. Hopefully, maybe not with Ezra Miller, but we're going to see at least Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, and Henry Cavill come back and interact. And that, to be honest, come on, right? As much as we
uh,
could go back and get,
I'd be all for that. Now,
I
have
think we
you
can do it.
heard that Henry Cavill's also working on a Warhammer series with Amazon?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you looked into any of the Warhammer stuff?
Warhammer's never been my thing. Never. I appreciate it, but I haven't got patience for them kind of games.
Fair
So
enough.
I've
I
never been
can't do
into it.
that. I've never done the game myself. I'm not gonna lie, and I will be the first to admit. And if people want to crap on me about this, they can all they want. I got hooked under the Warhammer by playing Space Marines.
Right.
And it just was like, whoa, this is so badass. And I just dug into the lore, and well, you put an autistic kid in something with a massive lore that he's interested in. That's keys to the kingdom.
I've been to. I'm assuming you probably have them over there as well. But like, we have Warhammer stores here where people, you go in and play and stuff like that.
Not actual specific, just Warhammer, but we do got a few tabletop stores here.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And my two nephews, they're hooked on Warhammer stuff also. And so every now and then I'll just randomly go up to them and do blood for the blood god. And for those that get the reference, they know it. Okay. And it's just, and they'll just go and yell back, skulls for the skull throne or something like that.
So I've never, like I said, never been into the game, but I've been more than once into stores just to watch and enjoy what people like. As I said, to me, like, I couldn't like the detailing on painting and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
I can't do
I,
the timer.
I
I don't
couldn't.
have the time or the patience to
No,
make the model.
I could. That's the bit. I remember when I came to America. I went to a comic book shop in Las Vegas, and I was like, I've got to buy some bits, and I bought a build your own Batmobile. Like it's like a little thing. It came with like 30 sheets of metal that you had to bend and everything. I spent 10 minutes trying to do it, and I was like, nope. Okay, I haven't got the patience for this. It's gone. So there's an unmade Batmobile somewhere at my mum's house. I was like, this looks really cool at what it could be, but unless I'm paying someone else to do it, I have not got the patience to sit and build that. Lego I can do, but little
Yeah.
intricate, because Lego it snaps together easy, but bending and painting and doing it, no, I
Well,
can't.
Lego's basically junior engineering.
Yeah, and it's great. Well, that's great. That's fine. I can do that,
Yeah.
and I should get the Batmobile. But yeah, but the Warhammer series you were saying, so like eh, again, as someone that's not like horror sound, I've never watched The Witcher because I don't do like for me, I don't know what it is, but like wizards and magic, like Lord of the Rings, never seen them. And that's sacrilege in the geek community sometimes. Harry Potter,
No,
I've
trust
seen
me,
them,
I
but
get
by
that.
force.
I'm very You ever see the movie Clerks too?
Dude,
Okay, fair point.
Kevin Smith,
I'm a
come on.
lot like Randall when it comes to Lord of the Rings. It's 3
Oh,
hours of nothing but walking. Even the trees freaking walk.
oh, mate. Oh,
Yeah, I get
we're about
that.
to go
I
dive into
sympathize.
Kevin Smith. Ooh,
I've seen the Lord of the Rings stuff, but the whole time I'm like, they're just walking.
that,
But
yeah,
The
Lord.
Witcher, dude, if you can, I would definitely recommend it. I know Henry Cavill actually left Witcher because that was when DC was first trying to bring him back as Superman, and then that whole debacle happened.
Oh, mate.
But
What an idiot.
but Chris Hemsworth's brother Liam is
Yeah.
supposed to be taking the part of Geralt now.
Yeah, and I was talking to somebody about this, and I was like, because that was announced like 2 years ago, wasn't it, or something? It was a long time ago. So I was like, oh, so what's it like with Liam? And they're like, it's not come out yet. I was like, what? I've been hearing about this for so long, and it's still not happened. But I suppose they need to give a bit of time to sort of like just make sure it's perfect because you're changing the main character. But yeah, certain shows like Game of Thrones, I've
Never
tried
watched it.
3 or 4
Never felt
times.
compelled to watch
And
it.
again, I've had people go to me, "What do you mean? You're a geek and you don't like Game of Thrones?" Yeah, I can't like everything. It's just, I mean, it was really weird because he was already Aquaman by the time I started watching it. It was very weird to see Aquaman having rough sex.
More to the point, it's kind of weird seeing somebody going and banging their cousin.
Yeah,
Like
yes,
it was like game of incest. Everyone was
yeah,
screwing each other.
yeah. And again, like I said, Lord of the Rings. I think I tried the first one, well, even Gladiator, again that gets me some grief. I had Gladiator on VHS, and it was one of the first ever DVDs I got with the first ever DVD player. Still never watched it. I don't know. Like to me, certain things. Harry Potter. The only ever like medieval thing I liked, and this is a deep cut. Dragonheart. Do you remember Dragonheart?
Oh, whoa. That's a
That
deep, deep cut right there.
Dragonheart, with Sean Connery as the dragon, like who was what was his name that was playing the guy? Is it
Oh my
Dennis Quaid?
God. Now you
Oh,
see, now I gotta look this up. Got all the
yeah, yeah.
information in the universe right here in the palm of my hands.
Good the old internet.
Dragonheart cast. Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid. It was Dennis
It was
Quaid.
Dennis
Oh,
Quaid.
dude. But what a movie! Like I went to see that twice at the cinema, and that's like I said, never been massive on the medieval things, but it was something about that film, like when that dragon goes. Spoilers for anybody that's not seen it, because you knew it had to happen because of the whole he has his
Well,
heart.
it's about 30 years old. If they haven't
Yeah.
seen it, if they haven't heard the story by now on it, that's on them.
Oh, mate, I remember being so like, well, it's one of the first films that really broke my heart because that dragon was awesome, and uh, and like he was funny as well. Like when they're having to do the slaying of the dragon, and they were
Yeah.
friends.
Like, why
Great
aren't you sinking?
story.
The lake's not deep enough.
Yeah, I'm trying. And that quote, for Einan to die, you have to kill me. It's like, oh, dude, we're gonna lose him. We're gonna lose him. Drago, was his name Drago? Draco.
Draco.
Literally there, yeah.
I still got the info up right here. Yeah.
Mate, what a film.
Yeah. And you want another deep cut from the 90s, and I think this was also in 96. Starship Troopers, man.
Dude,
Yes.
like what a film. I mean, what's his name? Gary Busey's son's in it, isn't he? And I loved
Yeah.
him.
No, I
Le-
think it was his brother.
Was it his brother?
Yeah, it's his
Oh,
brother.
was it his brother? I thought it was his son. This is
No,
going
it's his
back.
brother. But also, did you hear Sony is working on a reboot of the series of it?
Yes, because they did more, didn't they? And
They
they
did
just
a handful of like CG movies and straight to DVDs.
yeah, like with the, that's what one thing about the movie business. Now they kind of understand. Don't just pump them out for the sake of pumping them out because we saw this and you watched it. Every film just every so many series of films just went. You ruined films because you didn't do it justice. You were just trying to make money. Give us
Yeah.
the right story. Do the right thing. But Starship Troopers, man. I mean, let's face it. As a guy.
There anything in particular from Troopers that you took away from it?
Not to fuck with big space aliens, bugs, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, aside from that, mine, it's got to be the one line. Michael Ironside said it. I don't remember who it was he said it to, but just looks like, if you don't do your job, I'll shoot you myself. Like, that's the kind of fucking boss you want to have on your side, because if you're not going to do the job, he's going to get you. And
So,
that's why nobody will ever let me be in charge where I work, because at my 9 to 5, because if I will, because I get that, I turn into that kind of boss.
it was Jake Busey, wasn't it, that would play there? So I've just looked up myself. Jake Busey played Ace Levy, but so he reminds me, and nobody, and I swear to you, nobody remembers this TV show that I was obsessed with that never went anywhere. That he was in Shasta McNasty. Does this ring a bell?
I can't say the name does, but I can't put a picture to it.
It had Vern Troyer in it. Um, they were like a group of friends, and no, like I've never met anybody else that's seen it. It was kind of bad, but it was really really funny, and I remember being obsessed with it, and it just never went anywhere. It was never going to go too far. I think they changed it to just McNasty after a while, but
Yeah,
it
I
was
just looked
such
it
a
up right now. It came out in '99.
yeah, late 90s kind of. It to me it reminded me of like a Kevin Smith
Huh.
kind of TV show. But Vern Troyer's in it, and he's hilarious. It was my first introduction to Vern Troyer before Austin Powers.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the cast on it now, and yeah, he was in there. It was Jake Busey, Vern Troyer, Jeff Ross, a couple different people I recognize. It was on UPN here in the US.
Yeah, I think it was like MTV for us. But it was just one
Oh,
of them
okay.
shows that no one remembers. I'm like, it's so like such a 90s show. I say because
Another another early '90s gem, and I swear, not I know like maybe two other people that remember this show. It was The Mantis. It was Fox's version of trying to make their own superhero show. It was a scientist that was a paraplegic, and he made an exosuit that made him into a superhero.
oh my god, this sounds so familiar. Is it 1998, 1993? No,
Now, I'm pretty sure it came out in like 92, 93, somewhere between like 92 and 95 ish.
I don't know. I'm looking. The Mantis 1993. No, I'm not finding it. Mantis 90s. That will probably have a look.
94 came out.
94, 90. Oh, yeah. Mantis. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah,
that
that was
costume.
it had 2 seasons. It had 2 seasons. That was like a serious underground hit.
Because that was the time of those kind of costumes. Power Rangers, them with them
Yeah.
helmets. Guyver, I was obsessed with the Guyver. I loved the
Yes.
comic. The films were great.
Did you ever
Um,
watch the anime?
yeah. Oh, dude.
Okay.
Oh, mate, because they were true to the comics, them stories. And I was trying to show Jacob, and he just couldn't get into it. But they were dark, man. They were dark and so good. I was literally, I've got a pile of comics of Guyver because I was obsessed with how good it was. Guyver 3. Oh, my guy. My guy. Sho Fukumachi is the main kid, isn't he? If I
Yeah,
remember.
yeah. It's been a minute since I've seen it, so
Yeah.
I'm digging through the internal Rolodex.
Yeah, mate.
And that's on how I show my age. I got a Rolodex.
I think we're the same age, right? I'm 39 2 days after
Yeah,
this comes out.
yeah, I'll be 40 on April 3rd.
Oh, so let me know how it is. Turning
Yeah,
40.
so
I've got another
you
year.
get a close up, you look at the beard. I'm getting more and more grays.
Dude, don't.
Yeah, so
I knew there was an
I'm
issue.
getting those silver streaks in the beard. I will flat out refuse. I will not get just for men. No, I will keep
Oh,
that old salt
I'm
and
too
pepper
vain.
look
I've
right
done it.
there.
I've done it a few times, but I always end up getting dark brown and it just goes black. And my hair's people notice straight away. They're like, your hair's black now.
Yeah, no, I
But
won't do that because I'm getting. I already made the commitment. Once I hit 40, that's when I'm officially in my George Clooney era. That's when I'm in my George Clooney DILF era. So you know what? I'm gonna let the gray go.
So the only thing I have, and that sort of because I'm a DJ, and obviously I work, I'll be around a lot of youngsters, which, a lot of people our age now they're doing like double jobs. They're just with people that are. I deal with a lot of youngsters, and I keep getting reminders of how old I am. There was a girl that was in one of my clubs recently. We were talking. She asked me, "Where did you grow up?" Turns out I went to school with her mum. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm DJing for people whose mums I was in class with." Like that's so weird and a reminder. Jacob did it to me last year. My hair had grown a little bit long, and he went, "You're starting to look like Doctor Strange." I went, "Oh, what? Because of my beard?" He went, "No, the grey bits down the side." I was like, "Okay, fair enough." But he gave me the best compliment, and this is the wrestling side of it. He gave me the best compliment the other week. He went to me, "You look a bit like CM Punk with your beard." I was like, "Dude, right, you're gonna
Well,
get
there
yourself
you
a new
go.
action figure this week. We're gonna take you to the toy shop and we're gonna buy you a toy because that's what
Oh, there you
I'm
go.
okay with. I'm okay with
Take a
getting
line from Matt Cardona. You're gonna go take him out. Go scratch that figure itch.
yeah, straight up. Woo woo woo.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you doing anything with fig hunting?
So we see. I don't collect wrestling figures myself. Jacob's now into it, and you know he's 7. Trying to get him to keep them in boxes in mint condition would never happen. But he's like it's helping him learn. Like we go to the shops, and he's who's that one? And if he doesn't know who it is, next time we'll go, he'll know because he's looked them up, and that's how he's discovered people like Kane. So we 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 Toys R Us. I don't know if it officially came back over there.
It's
They
part of it's an internal branch to one of the department stores here.
Same with us, and the biggest letdown ever for me because I mean, I reckon even if I went to the US, I could have walked into a Toys R Us over there and knew before I walked in where the Power Ranger stuff were because it was the same. I
Yep.
knew them. 7C was Power Rangers, Turtles, and all the cool stuff.
Yeah,
Aisle seven,
because what was it? The Toys R Us here. When you go in, see, go in, you bank a
right?
left, go up, and then it was wrestling, then Power Rangers, then comic book heroes, and then right after that they had the big Star Wars displays.
Yeah, and them signs kind of. So here it's inside a shop called WH Smith's, which is like a bookshop. So they did a big thing. Toys R Us is coming upstairs. Is going to be. I was like, oh my god! I took my little boy. Like, this is going to be so cool. Go in there. I went upstairs. I was like, there's just all their books still, and then there was like 2 shelves with toys, with a Toys R Us logo over it, and a bench with Jeffrey Giraffe. Like, Oh.
And that's pretty much on how it is here.
Yeah, so we have another store called Smith's. Smith's is basically the new Toys R Us, and honestly, we're lucky. If we didn't have that, we wouldn't have a proper toy store like that anymore at all. But Smith's is the big one. They have all the rows. They're not as big as Toys R Us used to be, but they are good, and they have a good WWE selection, really good. So yeah, it's expensive, but I like taking him there.
Oh, that's
Luckily,
awesome.
it's not just round the corner. It's a 40-minute drive, so
Oof.
it's not every week we have to go. Otherwise, I'll never have any money.
Oof. I get that, man. Trust me. Cause my son now, he's his big thing is he loves collecting Funkos. So we go to this one toy collector shop that's just a few blocks from my house. It's within walking distance. So every now and then I'll be like, yeah, come on, we'll go to the shop. You want to go? And he'll just be like, we gonna be able to go and scratch that fig itch? Yep. Because yeah, he picked that up from the Matt Cardona show. And he'll go, if he's curious on something, he'll be like, hey dad, what was this line from? I'm like, what's this figure from? I'm like, well, this is definitely Robin. Which one? I'm like, let's see. Let me look at the timestamp on it. When's this figure come out? Came out in so and so. Yeah, that's this guy. That's this guy from this line, and they did this, and this, and they because he knows I don't know how I know this stuff. I just randomly know these random things. And then
Because
he'll be like, oh, okay, cool.
it's because we grew like we we grew up without the internet, so we learned like we were reading magazines. Like we used to read the catalogs, like
Yeah.
us.
Because what was it? I wound up finding out a few years ago. Kenner, the toy company Kenner that made the Star Wars stuff, pretty much owned 90% of my childhood because of
Yeah,
outside of wrestling figures. Majority of the toys I ever had as a kid were from Kenner. I was like, wait, what? Oh my God. Kenner owned most of my childhood.
yeah. For me, it was Bandai because of Power Rangers. Bandai were
Oh yeah, I
the
had a handful of
yeah.
power. I had some decent Power Ranger stuff. I had the head flipper figures.
Flip heads. They're redoing them, and they look a little bit cheaper than they did originally. But the one thing I did like, because if you remember, the Green Ranger or the White Ranger, to flip the head, you had to take the shield off.
Yeah.
I was like, but now they've done it. Like if you had the command center playset, you had that thing that you'd push it up and the head would flip. It would kind of do it like a teleporter. The head would flip, but to Tommy, you had to take your shield off to do it. And then they've done these new flip head versions where the Green Ranger is shields built in. I was like, it's taken 30 years to get that right.
God
It's nuts.
dang.
All right,
That
so
is nuts.
with my Power Ranger collection, when I was a kid, I had all the figures, I had Saber, I had the Dragon Dagger, I had all the kids stuff, but Megazords, everything. But I got to the age of about 10, and a lot of my friends were like sort of telling me you shouldn't be into Power Rangers anymore. You should be watching football. We're all into football. So I sold it all cheap, got rid of it all. But it always stuck in my head. So it weren't until I was 24, 25, eBay found a Megazord and a Dragon Zord.
Oh yeah, I don't
And
blame you, man. When I was a what was it? First major adult purchase I ever got was on eBay. I got the plush of a Domino's Noid because I was a kid and I had one. And he was my best buddy, and I named him Bruce because Batman, Bruce Wayne. So once I got it and I showed everyone, I was like, I got Bruce again. They were like, how did you find him? eBay. Like,
yeah,
that is scary on how you're able to hunt for this stuff. Because my brother, the very few days later, my brother was telling me his daughter, he was saying, yeah, she said she wanted a unicorn monster truck for her birthday. I don't even know if stores have that. And I'm like, hold it. Do. Found one, $20, eBay. He was like, it's scary how quick you can find that stuff.
it literally, I mean, eBay, I think eBay's become like, I wouldn't go near eBay now. I'd rather go to Facebook Marketplace than eBay because eBay just, it seems like it's been destroyed whenever I go. And I wouldn't trust anything on there. And if there is anything that looks real, they're always £1,000 more expensive than they should be. But that's where it came from. I started getting I think the first few things I got original Megazord. I got the Dragon Zord, and what really was amazing, the tail wasn't broken on the Dragon Zord.
Oh,
That was because they broke so easily, and I had it until I became a stepdad, and I let my stepson play with it for 2 minutes, and he broke the tail. I was like, really? But I got Megazord, Dragon Zord. I got the newer toys. I got the Morpher, the Green Ranger Morpher, and I got I think it was the Dragon Dagger. I've got literally got.
the Dragon Dagger.
Yeah. So it was then like, okay, I can do it. And what really showed, I posted that picture, like I just refound my love for Power Rangers. I'm going to start my collection that I got rid of, and JDF liked it. So I was like, I've got to do this. My hero, my hero is, I'm going to prove him. And now, I mean, it's all at my mum's, my Power Ranger stuff, because I haven't put shelves around my office, but and I won't let the kids near it, but I make my collection. I've got all the stuff I had as a kid, plus all the newest, a lot of the newest stuff and the weapons.
I gotta send you a picture, show you my Fig collection. I had to actually stop because I ran out of real estate. But man, I'm glad that you took the time to come out here. I do appreciate it. And I say this to everyone that ever comes on. You could have been out there doing a million different other things. You chose to be here. You got my eternal thanks. And, you're definitely more than welcome, because we barely even scratched the surface on
Oh,
half
dude,
the
I
stuff
could
we
do
could
this
go
for
on.
hours. I could do this for hours. I
Yeah.
feel like we need to we've got a couple of things lined up in the next couple of weeks, but we need to get you back over on ours. I know Mr. Bingus will be very happy with that. And you could obviously, who was it? It was me, Bingus, and Woody was then. Woody and Scott, I'll speak to them. Another guy that joined our team. They started their own wrestling podcast. So speak to them. They'll definitely love to have you over talk wrestling. Come on ours, we'll talk geek wrestling, we'll talk it all. You meet the rest of the team that you've not met. Dude, it's been a pleasure. Honestly, let's do this again.
Most definitely, man. And any socials, anything you want to plug and promote, by all means, the floor is yours.
I'm at the DJ Ryan S on everything, but the most important one I want people to follow is at Talk Dork Podcast. That's the podcast. That's where the rest of the show's coming from, and we've got a lot going on.
And Talk with Dorks it's on Twitter, Facebook, and such.
Yeah. So at Talk Dork Podcast is the handle and everything. Facebook,
Okay.
X, Twitter, TikTok. We've got threads, but that lasted about 5 minutes, I think, with everybody. And obviously YouTube and Spotify is where you can watch us.
If you got a Facebook and an Instagram, you automatically get a Threads. All you got to do is just download the app.
Don't have to do any work.
Yeah. Well, they're all tied to Facebook.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is just download the app if you really want to use it. It's like Twitter, except it's a PG version of Twitter. Basically, you can't put any like thirst traps on.
Yeah.
So, sorry to disappoint Bingus, but because on how he loves to do that stuff.
But I think he's given up on X finally. I think he's given up. I haven't seen him do anything on there for a while, unless I've missed it. I think he's given up finally. I think he's just TikTok orientated. Bless him.
Oh, all right. It's all good on that, man. But again, thank you so much for taking the time to come on here today. I do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, dude. I appreciate you.